Alright, so I'm going to be going over how to make a lead capture chatbot. So to get started, you're going to come over to voiceflow.com. You can create a free account or sign in if you already have one. So once you sign in, you'll be brought to a page that looks like this. When you go to the top right and select new agent, and then the name of it, the mode, the language, continue, and then create agent. So once we do that, we'll be brought to a page that looks something like this. Well, actually be in here. And what you can start by doing is you'll need to create a knowledge base. So I just had this random company generated from ChatGPT and put it in here. But if you're doing it from a website, you can enter the URLs from the website and even choose the refresh rate. So once we're done with that, we can go back to workflows and then click edit the home workflow. So the start button, we're going to click and drag out and put something like a message block. So what we want to start by doing is we might want the lead's name, email, and maybe even the intent or what they're looking at in the company. So we can say something like, before we get started, what is your name? So from here we can drag out, and we're going to drag in a listen and a capture block, and we're going to click create new entity, and then we can call it name. And then the data type, VoiceFlow actually has a name data type set in here already, which essentially has a list of names, and if the user's name is in that list, then it allows them to create one. So it prevents anyone from entering random information that's not their name. So we click create new entity, and then we can go into this no match and type something like, please enter name. So this will pop up if they enter something that is not their name or a name that's not on the list, which you'll want to keep track of this and add any names to the list if their name is unique and not on the list. So we can do that by going back here and going to entities, selecting on name, and then you click add value, and you can add whatever name is here, whatever name they entered that wasn't already on the list. So for now, we'll go back to the workflow, edit the workflow, and now we've captured the name and stored it in the variable called name. So we can add another message block and say your email, and then drag out another capture, and then create new entity, email, and then enter their email. So this also takes in the format and make sure there's an @ sign at whatever. And then from here we might want something like what the customer actually wants help with. So we can say something like, help you with today. And then capture this. We're actually going to use the buttons for this, just so it gives them options. So it really depends on the company, but for this I'll say like wholesale, and then product info, and then like white label or something like this. So if you check out the previous video I made, you can go through and add intents here, which is pretty helpful for mitigating risk, but I'm going to skip that and just go straight to the actions and set variable. So I'm going to create a variable called attention. I'll just call it intents, and then create variable. So we're going to set this to wholesale. So you have to enter quotations here, and then we'll just say wholesale. So this is just labeling the variable called intents, and it's assigning it the value of wholesale, which is what they're clicking on here. So we're going to do the same for product info and white label. We're going to use the same variable intents. Product info. So see these come out the side, basically saying that we've assigned the variables to those. And then what we can do from here, once we have all the information that we want to collect from the user, we're going to drag out a dev and an API block. So you don't have to worry about too much of this, but we're going to select a post request since this is in JavaScript, and then I'll show you where to get this later, but for now we're going to open the body section, and we'll call the first one name, which was the first variable we gathered, and then we're going to use the curly bracket to enter the name. So we're passing the value that we assign name as name, and then we're going to add the same for email and the same for the intention. Okay. So once you've added all the variables that you've assigned, then we're actually going to head over to a website called make.com. Looks like this. You can log in, it's free again. So you can be brought to your organization page, and then we're going to add a new scenario. So the first thing we're going to add is this thing called webhooks, and then add a custom webhook. Just going to add a new one. We can just name it whatever. Doesn't really matter. Select save, and then you see it gives you this address right here. So you just select copy address to clipboard, and then select OK. So we can go back over to voice flow, and then this is where we're going to paste in the request URL. So we just paste that in, and we're pretty much good on voice flow side. We're going to go back into make, and from here this is going to basically get all the variables in their values from this webhook. So it sends it to make.com, and then we're going to send it to, you can add your CRM, so something like HubSpot or something. I've just made a Google Sheet, and I'm going to add it to a row in the Google Sheet. So you can go through and add, you connect your Gmail, and then you add the drive, select the spreadsheet, which I've just made a spreadsheet called CRM. Select it, and then the sheet 1, and then it contains headers, so it'll even load in. I've just typed these in here. It will load in the values, and then we're going to go back to this and send request. So we can just type in a random name, email.com. This is just random. Click generate, select run, and then go back and press resend. So you'll see it got the name, the email, and the intent. So we can drag the name into the name section, email, and so on. So now it's it will assign whatever value is under name and put it into the name under here in the spreadsheet. So if we go back, actually turn scheduling on, and then schedule setting, and select immediately, and then select OK. So now we can actually go back, save changes, select OK, and then we can go back, save changes. So now we'll see it out here. And we can go back in here and then send another request. So we'll change the name to make sure it's working. And then click select generate. And if we go over to our spreadsheet, we can see that it populated those values in there. So if we press cancel, and let's send another one just to make sure it's working. Press generate, and you can see it added another row in here. So this also works inside your CRM. It can make a different lead, and then you can of course assign the information that we're collecting from the chatbot. So from here we'll keep going, and we might want a response AI, something like information on whatever we assign to intents, and then say something like a customer assistant. We'll just turn that off. And so you notice that this post request has a success and a fail. Depending on what you're doing, you might want to utilize a different path for the fail, but I'm just going to pass both to the same thing so the user doesn't know if it went through or not, because ideally you just want it to continue on the same path whether this worked or not. But we can try this out, train it really quick. See, notice if I enter something random, a name that's not on the list, it says please enter your name, and then an email. So again, if I enter something random, it says sorry, we didn't add that in the match, but yeah. So if I enter something in the format of an email, then it goes through. What can I help you with? Select wholesale. goes through the post request, gives us the information that we prompted the AI, and then you can see that it also populated the spreadsheet without us having to do anything. So that's essentially it. You can get pretty creative with the information you're gathering here, and combine this with the previous video I made on how to prevent them from just typing random information in here. Really the only thing is make sure you're sending the post request after you've gotten all the information you'd like. So I waited till I had gotten all 3 of these and then send the post request. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, just leave a comment, and yeah, have a good one.